I am the nature hacker, and this is your world. So, I want to talk about a nature party border. So, the Libertarian Party, I like. I used to be a full-fledged libertarian, but especially one thing I don't like about the Libertarian Party is their view on abortion. That abortion is the mother's right, which I do not agree with. I mean, obviously, the mom and the baby are very integral, but I believe the baby should have a chance, and that if you know the parents make a decision to have intercourse, and baby is fertilized and whatnot, I do believe that that baby has the right to live life. So yeah, just like a parent wouldn't have the right to leave a child in the middle of nowhere out to die. Same within the womb. The parent doesn't have the right to let the child or cause the child to die. So yeah, there's maybe some other things I don't necessarily like about the Libertarian Party, but I mean, what really comes down to it is I believe that we need something else, something different, and and I don't agree with Ron Paul kind of coming against Trump and categorizing Trump as, part of the neocons. He lumps Trump into the neocons, which I think is totally wrong. Trump is something totally different. Trump has his own party. He's an independent, and he should definitely not be lumped in with neocons, which is a derogatory term in and of itself. So, anyway, I do think that I want to have my own party, the Nature Party, and just be able to express myself and to be able to give my take on the issues and stuff. So, what would a Nature Party border look like? Well, I mean, we look to nature. You got lipid bilayers in nature. You got cell walls in plants. Cell walls basically are there to provide rigidity. And, membranes, yeah, there's transporter proteins that will allow, bigger molecules to cross. But for bigger molecules to cross, it basically takes a inspection or whatnot, which, part of nature. And but for smaller things, they can diffuse across the membrane, or there's passive channels, things like that. So that's how I think we should design our border. Is have a strong border. Not a border that's totally non-existent. We need borders. Nature has borders. But I think what we should do is have a wall, so to speak, but have area like holes in the wall, so to speak, or breaks in the wall that are just big enough to allow people on foot to cross. I believe that if somebody's on foot, they should be able to cross, no questions asked, no problem at all. Okay, no showing your ID, no nothing. Anybody on foot should be able to cross. That is what I believe. I do believe that. You could argue that, they could have an invasion. Well, if it's all people on foot, at least it's not like tanks getting in or, whatever. So I do believe that people on foot have the right to go where they please in the world. The world wasn't created to hold people in a certain area. The world is for people to be able to travel freely. So I really believe anyone on foot should have a free pass, no matter what, they can get through. All right, now, if somebody wants to drive a car or something else, maybe we have it so that people can cross, but you can't easily get like vehicles through. I don't know, by putting spike strips all around, or I don't know, something like that. Just so that people can cross on foot, but you can't really get vehicles through, right? And and obviously the holes will be not big enough to get most vehicles through. Maybe if you're lucky, a motorcycle, but maybe the spike strips would make it so you could only really do something like a bicycle that you could carry on your shoulder. Something like that. You can kind of create barriers to certain things while allowing other things. So I think a person on foot is fine. I think um, a person on horseback, iffy. I don't know. People on bicycles, that's fine. People on motorcycles, I don't know. But anyway, but then we get into the realm of cars, obviously, and stuff. And I believe that there should be just like transport proteins in cells, that there should be things like that at the border for vehicles. So what would you do? Well, you would have a little holding area. You drive your car in a holding area, and it gets inspected to some degree. I mean, it's not. I wouldn't say that it would be intrusive, like getting everybody out and searching the car. I don't necessarily believe that, but maybe having dogs, bomb sniffing dogs, things like that. And I think drugs are totally fine. But you have the dogs trained for, I don't know, some dangerous things or whatever. I don't know what exactly, but and then if they find something, then okay, you have two options. If they find that, hey, there's something suspicious, you have two options. Either you could just leave and go back to where you came from, right? Or you could proceed and have an actual inspection where they find out what the offending thing is. And like, let's say you're carrying fertilizer in and a dog thinks that that's a bomb. Fertilizer is one possible component in a bomb. So they find, oh, it's just fertilizer, you're fine, go on through. But so that's the thing. You kind of have a little bit of security as far as vehicles, bigger things. So that's that. And then the rest of things, I guess, wouldn't really be able to get through. You just kind of have a limit to how big something can get through. I mean, something that's in a car footprint should be able to get through. Obviously airplanes can fly over, so that is what it is. But I also believe that there should be a 1 mile on either side of the border that's like a no-build zone, kind of like a no man's land, where there's not allowed to be anything built a mile from the border on either side. Just to kind of keep, be able to have, a border, so it's not like, you can't just, sneak in and out of the border like super easy and stuff. It's actually, you have to go a mile at least, to get across the border. So, yeah, that's what I think it should be. And I don't believe in citizenship. I think that you want to be on this side of the border, then that's your right, and you can do that. And if you want to go on the other side of the border, that's perfectly fine too. And obviously there would be different laws and whatnot. And I believe that the laws for a society should be there should be just like some common rules, like they have the Ten Commandments, something like that, not the exact Ten Commandments, but like that, where it's, don't hurt anybody, blah, 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 so, yeah, anyway, so that's pretty much it, and there wouldn't be any, like, centralized, force enforcers, it's like now there's, like, this power class that has the power to enforce the rules and everybody else doesn't. I totally disagree with that. I think that's the worst thing you could do. I think every man should be, maybe one of the rules is that, the men have to be armed once they turn 18, and I don't really necessarily think it should be strictly enforced, but it should be very much encouraged that every man over the age of 18 is responsible to carry arms to, and have a capacity to defend the society, the people, whatever. So if somebody breaks a law, that there isn't just a police class that can enforce, but that you have everybody who can and should enforce and bring those people to justice. And I do think there should be probably like a group of elders in each town or city or whatever organization there is, and those people should be in charge of ruling on hearing the cases and ruling on them, and that those people can be, that they can stay in there for as long as they live, if if they're great, and if they're not, they can easily be voted out by the people. So that's what I believe, and I feel that it mimics nature, and that also mimics a lot of the Old Testament as far as Moses, and he was ruling on cases, and he also got a group of, I don't know, 70 elders or whatever to help him to make rulings and judgments on cases that the people brought before them. So I think that's how society should run. I mean, it's really basic. It's not too complicated. There's going to be no taxing. I mean, it's all volunteer work. I mean, that's just the way it is. I mean, everybody has a responsibility to defend, to bring people, to apprehend people who are breaking, the very basic rules, and then to have them be able to be tried by the elders and whatnot. So, the border should just be enforced by having some people there to, inspect, I guess, cars coming through, and it could just be a society thing. A car drives up, and people from the country go over and just check it out and see, and then open the gate for them or whatever. But I definitely think people should be able to travel freely. So anyway, travel freely on foot. So anyway, that is the Nature Party's border plan. So thanks for watching. I am the Nature Hacker. Do work.